In my grandmother's day, no Amish child ever wanted a candy bar from a store. They did not even think of such a thing because there was something better waiting for them, something made by their mother's own hands, and it was so good that no store-bought sweet could ever hope to compare. It was called a whoopie pie. And if you have never had one, a real one, made the old way, then let me tell you what you have been missing all your life. 2 soft, dark, cakey rounds of chocolate, tender as anything, with a thick, sweet, fluffy filling of cream pressed between them like the softest sandwich in all the world. That is a whoopie pie. And they say the name comes from the children shouting whoopie when they found one tucked into their lunch pail. And I believe it because I remember that feeling exactly, that pure joy of reaching in to your pail at school and finding a whoopie pie your mother had hidden there. Today, I am going to teach you to make them the real Amish way. And I promise you that the children in your life, however old they are going to shout whoopie too. Let me tell you first what a whoopie pie actually is, because people get confused. They think pie and they imagine a crust, and there is no crust here at all. A whoopie pie is really 2 little cakes with filling between them. Some people call them gobs in certain places, and there are folks in New England who claim them, and folks here in Pennsylvania, Dutch country, who know they are truly ours. And I will not start that argument today. I will only say that in every plain kitchen I have ever known, the whoopie pie has been a treasured thing for longer than anyone can remember. There is an old story about how they came to be, and I do not know if it is true, but it is dear to me, so I will tell it. They say that the whoopie pie began as a way to use up the batter left over from making a chocolate cake. A thrifty plain woman, and every plain woman is thrifty, would not throw away good batter. So she would drop what was left onto a pan in little rounds and bake them up. And then, not wanting to waste the filling either, she would press some cream between 2 of them. And there was a treat born straight out of thrift, out of the plain refusal to waste anything at all. And she would tuck them into the men's lunch pails and the children's school pails. And when they opened their pails and found this unexpected sweet, they would shout whoopie. Whether it happened just so, I cannot say, but it is exactly the kind of thing that does happen in a plain kitchen. Something wonderful born out of the determination to waste nothing. And so I believe it in my heart, even if I cannot prove it. It is soft. That is the whole heart of it. The cake part is soft and moist and tender, almost like the top of a chocolate cake. And the filling is soft and sweet and fluffy, and the whole thing together is soft upon soft, a mouthful of tender sweetness. There is nothing hard about a whoopie pie anywhere. It is comfort itself, made into a thing you can hold in your hand. So let me show you how it is done, and we will make the cakes first and then the filling. For the cakes, you are making a soft chocolate batter, and the secret to that dark, tender softness is a few things. Cocoa, of course, good cocoa powder for that deep chocolate color and flavor, and then the things that make it tender and moist and give it that soft rise. You start, as we so often do, by creaming together your fat and your sugar. Now, some families use butter, and some use shortening, and some use a bit of both. And I will tell you that a little shortening does help these stay soft and hold their shape, but butter gives the best flavor. So suit yourself, or do as I do, and use some of each. You cream your fat and your sugar together until light. Then in go your eggs and your vanilla, beaten and smooth. Now for the dry things, you have your flour, your cocoa, a good bit of it for a nice dark cake, your salt, and your baking soda and baking powder to give it that soft, cakey lift. And here is the thing that makes a whoopie pie cake so tender and moist. You add your dry things alternately with a liquid, and that liquid is where the magic is. In our family, it was buttermilk. Buttermilk, the same fresh buttermilk left over from making butter. And that acid tang works with the baking soda to make the cake rise up soft and tender and light. Some families use hot coffee in the batter or hot water, and the heat blooms the cocoa and makes the chocolate flavor deeper and darker. And that is wonderful too. But buttermilk is the old way in our house, and I love what it does. So you add your dry things and your buttermilk to your creamed mixture, a bit of dry, a bit of buttermilk, back and forth, mixing gently, only until it all comes together into a smooth, soft, dark batter. Do not overmix, gentle hands, as always, for a soft cake. Now, you drop that batter onto your baking sheets, and here is a thing to understand. You are making rounds that will be sandwiched together, so you want them all about the same size, so that each top finds a matching bottom. You drop the batter by big spoonfuls, a good rounded spoonful for each one, and you leave plenty of room between them because they spread and puff up as they bake. Try to make them even, all about the same, and they will spread into nice, round, soft domes. If you want them truly matched and neat, you can measure them, but my grandmother just dropped them by the spoon with an eye trained over 50 years, and they came out fine, and yours will too. Into a moderate oven they go, and you bake them just until they are set and spring back when you touch them lightly in the center. And here, same as with the cookies, do not overbake. A whoopie pie cake wants to stay soft and moist, so you pull them when they are just set, still soft, springing back gently. Overbaked, they go dry, and a dry whoopie pie is a sad thing indeed. Pull them soft, let them cool completely before you fill them, because a warm cake will melt your filling right out the sides. While they cool, you make the filling, and oh, the filling, this is where the real old magic lives. And I am going to tell you the traditional way, and it is going to surprise some of you. The classic old Amish whoopie pie filling is made with a thing that sounds strange to modern ears. It starts with a cooked flour paste. You cook flour and milk together into a thick paste, and you let it cool completely, and then you beat it into creamed butter and sugar. And what you get is a filling, so light and fluffy and smooth, not too sweet, almost like a marshmallow cream, but better, that it is unlike any frosting you have ever tasted. That cooked flour filling, sometimes called ermine filling, is the true old whoopie pie cream, and it is worth every bit of the little extra trouble. Let me walk you through it. You whisk flour into milk in a saucepan, and you cook it over gentle heat, stirring and stirring until it thickens up into a paste as thick as pudding. Then you take it off the heat and let it cool all the way down to room temperature. And it must be fully cool or it will melt your butter. So be patient. Meanwhile, you cream together butter and sugar until fluffy and a good bit of vanilla. And some families use part shortening here too for that pure white fluffy look and to help it hold up. And then when your flour paste is cool, you beat it into the creamed butter and sugar, and you beat it until it turns light and fluffy and smooth, and the sugar dissolves, and you have a cloud of soft, sweet filling that is like nothing from a can. That is the real one. That is the filling that made children shout whoopee. It takes a little more time and a little more care than beating sugar into butter, but there is nothing hard about it, only a bit of patience with the cooking and the cooling, and once you have made it one time, you will have the way of it forever. My grandmother could make that cooked filling in her sleep, stirring the pot with one hand and minding a baby with the other. And it came out perfect every time, light as a cloud. Yours will too once your hands learn it. Now, I will be honest with you because a good teacher is honest. Many families nowadays make a quicker filling with powdered sugar and marshmallow creme beaten into the butter, and it is very good and much faster. And if you are pressed for time, it will make a fine whoopie pie. I will not scold you for it. But if you want the true old taste, the one my grandmother made, the one that is not too sweet and has that particular light, fluffy melt to it, then you make the cooked flour filling and you will taste the difference. And I think you will decide the little bit of extra work is worth it. That is for you to judge. Both make a good whoopie pie. Only one makes the old one. When your cakes are completely cool and your filling is made, you build your whoopie pies. You turn half your cakes upside down, flat side up, and you spread or pipe a good, generous mound of filling onto each one. Do not be stingy with the filling. The filling is half the joy. You want a good, thick layer. And then you take a matching cake and set it on top, flat side down, and press gently until the filling spreads out just to the edges. And there it is, a whoopie pie. Soft dark cake, thick sweet cream, soft dark cake. You hold it in your hand and it gives a little when you squeeze it and you bite into it. And the soft cake and the fluffy cream come together into pure tender sweetness. And I dare you not to smile. It cannot be done. Nobody in the history of the world has ever eaten a whoopie pie without smiling. It is not possible. Let me tell you what these meant in my childhood, because they were pure joy, plain and simple. A whoopie pie was a treat, a real treat, not an everyday thing, but a special thing. And finding one in your lunch pail was the best kind of surprise. My mother made them for church gatherings and for school lunches and for the end of a long week. And they were the currency of childhood happiness in our home. I remember trading at school, though we did not have much to trade. And a whoopie pie was worth more than anything. Nobody would trade one away. You guarded your whoopie pie with your life and ate it slowly to make the joy last. You would take the smallest bites you could bear to take, nibbling around the soft edges, saving the middle where the filling was thickest for last, making that one whoopie pie last as long as a whole recess, if you could manage it. That is the kind of thing a child does with a treasure, and a whoopie pie was a treasure. I remember my mother making a great batch of them, dozens, and the counter covered with the little dark cakes cooling and us children hovering. And the moment she started spreading the filling, we knew we were close. And when she handed us that first warmish whoopie pie, filled and whole, it was as good as Christmas morning. And I made them for my own children, and they hovered the same way. And now for my grandchildren, and they hovered too. The same big eyes, the same held breath, the same shout of whoopee when they finally get one in their hands. Some joys never change. Some joys are handed straight down, unchanged, from child to child across 100 years, and a whoopie pie is one of them. Let me give you a few things to watch for. Make your cakes even in size so they match up into good pairs. Do not overbake them. Pull them soft and springy so they stay moist. Let them cool all the way before filling, or you will have a melted mess. Make a generous amount of filling, because thin filling makes a disappointing whoopie pie, and a thick layer makes a glorious one. And once they are filled, they are best eaten within a day or two, though they never last that long in any house I have known. You can wrap them each in a bit of wax paper, the way my mother did for the lunch pails, and that keeps them nice and makes them feel like a little gift, which is exactly what they are. Some families make them in other flavors too. Pumpkin whoopie pies in the fall with a cream cheese filling, which are heavenly. And I will show you those when the pumpkins come in. There are oatmeal whoopie pies, 2 soft oatmeal cakes with that same fluffy cream which some children loved even more than the chocolate. There are red velvet ones now and vanilla ones and all manner of new flavors. And that is fine. A good recipe grows and changes with the years. But the chocolate one, the classic one, is the one to start with, the one that is truest to the whoopie pies of my childhood. And I will tell you, at an Amish wedding, you will very often find whoopie pies among all the food made by the dozens and dozens because they can be made ahead and they please everyone, young and old alike. And there is something fitting about this humble, happy treat being there at the start of a new life together. A whoopie pie is a joyful thing, and a wedding is a joyful day, and they belong together. When I see a table of whoopie pies at a wedding, I think of all the weddings I have been to across all my years, and all the happy couples, and all the whoopie pies, and it makes me smile the way whoopie pies always make everyone smile. So this week, make a batch of whoopie pies and make the real filling if you can and fill them generous, and then give one to a child or to somebody who used to be a child, which is all of us. Wrap one in wax paper and tuck it into somebody's lunch, the way my mother did for me, and let them find that little surprise in the middle of their day, that little soft, sweet gift that says, somebody loves you. That is what a whoopie pie really is. It is not just a sweet. It is a mother's love made into something you can hold in your hand and carry with you and unwrap when the day is long. And it says, without a single word, you are cared for, you are thought of, you are loved. There is no candy bar in any store in all the world that can say that. Only a whoopie pie made by hand, given with love, can say that. If you would like every recipe I know, all the cakes and cookies and pies and breads my grandmother taught me, they are gathered together in my kitchen field book, waiting for you just below this video. 100 recipes from Lancaster County, going all the way back to 1720, written down the way I would tell them to you if you were sitting right here at my table. And if you are new to my kitchen, come and sit with me a while. I share these old ways every few days. The food that kept Plain families fed and warm and happy for 200 years and more. Subscribe, and we will bake together one batch at a time. There's always room at my table for one more. Until next time, God bless your hands, God bless your kitchen, and God bless every soul who gathers at your table. Now go and make some whoopie pies and hear the children shout,